I'm at PGA of America headquarters here in Florida. This is the heart and soul of golf in the United States. It's from here that America is planning for the 2016 Ryder Cup. Now, after 3 stinging defeats in a row, fans are beginning to ask, how can they stem the run of losses? Well, I'm here to meet the man who is charged with doing just that. He is a 6-time Ryder Cup player, and he's already a defeated captain. I'm here to meet Davis Love III. How damaging would it be for the Ryder Cup if you were to lose again? That would be 4 losses in a row for the first time to Europe.
Well, I think it would be even more stirring, I think, because we know we're putting everything we have into it, and we know we're building for the future. We know this is a team now that has to build for the next 10 Ryder Cups. We know we're not going to win them all. We want to win the next one, though, and it would be very disappointing. But they're all disappointing. Every one team that I've been a part of that we've lost is still a crushing defeat. But we're taking them one at a time, and we're going to move forward on this one.
How crushing is it, actually? Let's try and compare and contrast. Is it more disappointing for you personally than, say, coming second in the Masters or the US Open, which you did?
Yeah, second place in a major championship is disappointing, but I don't go and apologize to my captain or to my teammates. And I feel bad for Tom Kite in 1997 that I didn't get any points for him. And that was one of my biggest thrills in life, was to play on Tom Kite's Ryder Cup team. And Justin Leonard and I had these great ties to Tom Kite, and we didn't play very well. And we had won majors that year. So that's where it's more disappointing than your individual tournament wins or losses.
As with Davis Love, his rival captain, Darren Clarke, had a great Ryder Cup playing career, being part of 4 winning teams and tasting defeat just once. The Northern Irishman succeeded Paul McGinley, who won at Glen Eagles 2 years ago.
The Ryder Cup is a very, very special event to be part of, let alone play in. And if you want to become any good at anything, you've got to test yourself at the highest level, and there is no real higher level than the Ryder Cup. You can play as an individual coming down the stretch in majors and with the chances to win, and yes, you get nervous. But the Ryder Cup is a whole different level of pressure because you're playing for your teammates, and it's a hard pressure, but it's a brilliant pressure. I know that sounds a bit odd, but to have that team ethos, which we don't really get as professional golfers too often, we all really, really love it. And that team spirit in the European camp has been something that has driven us to a lot to do with our success of late.
Martin Keimer, this to retain the Ryder Cup, and in! And the cup is safely in European hands.
Let's talk about 2012. You were captain of the team then. You were in a great position going into the singles on the Sunday. You ended up losing. You said, I think, after that you had nightmares about what went wrong. Do you still have nightmares?
I have a lot of second guessing. It's disappointing because my players played their hearts out. They worked very, very hard to get ready, to prepare. I watched them for months before at Medina, working hard on their games, analyzing the golf course, and then it didn't happen for them, and I wanted it to be for them. They've come to me, several of them, and apologized like I did for my captains, and it's not about me, it's about them winning. So I'm still disappointed for them, but not in them.
For the rally and the comeback that they did, Jose Maria was over the moon. I mean, it's just, Jose Maria is a gentleman as well, the same as Davis, but a little bit of me did feel sorry for Davis, but when it comes around to it this time, that's put to one side. We will arrive as friends, we will be different during the week, and we will leave as friends. That's the way it'll be.
It'll be tough for me because we're good friends, have a lot of respect for each other. Similar to when I captained against Jose Maria, a great honorable man to compete against. So it's going to be tough with Darren as well. But it's going to be fun. And he talked to me in 2010 when we were both assistant captains. Said, wouldn't it be nice to be able to captain against each other? So I'm very happy that it worked out. But you know, he's intense. He's going to have his team ready to go. He's going to be very, very prepared. They're going to be very well dressed, and we're going to have to be ready for that. But it will be fun. It will be friendly, and it'll be very gentlemanly match for sure.
Davis has been a very good friend of mine for a very long time, and you know, we've played practice rounds with each other. We've spent a lot of time with each other, and Davis is quite a sensible character, and I maybe not be, but you know, we get on really, really well, and you know, to have the opportunity to go up against Davis, you know, it's a privilege and an honour for me to do so. He's desperate to try and win it, you know, after Medina when he was the losing captain, and he'll be doing everything he can to try and have an American victory.
If you could go back, what mistakes would you correct, if you like?
Well, there were some strategical errors that we probably made. There were some coaching errors that we probably made, and some things that Tiger, Phil, Jim Furyk, Steve Stricker, that were all a part of what we were doing there. But maybe we could have made our team a little bit more comfortable when they teed off on Sunday morning. Maybe we could have said something different on Saturday night. We were all very excited about our 4-point lead. We all sat around a bigger group than we probably should have and talked about who was going to go in what order the next day. We spent a little bit too much time in the media room afterwards, and I had 2 former U.S. presidents named Bush in my team room giving a speech, and I was not even there. I was in a car driving back to the hotel. Just, it got away from us a little bit that it was so good.
Europe have been a wonderful run this past few years in holding putts in the greens. At some stage it's going to run back their way. I just hope it's not under my watch, but we shall see. But you know, they're doing everything they can do to try and win it back, and I've been doing everything with the help of the vice captains and everything to make sure that we bring it back. So it's going to be another exciting Ryder Cup again.
Do you think over the years the Ryder Cup has become too important and too much importance has been placed on it, especially in the media? We've had Brookline, we had Kiewit Island, especially where things perhaps got out of hand.
It shows the pressure of the moment. It shows that we all crack under pressure. We all jump out onto the green when we're not supposed to, or we say the wrong thing at the wrong time. But it's the passion of the Ryder Cup that's coming out. I remember, you know, Seve and Paul Azinger, you know, toe to toe. And I played 3 matches against Seve, and every time Tom Kite went to mark the ball, I go, wait, ask him before, don't make him mad, you know. And so it's so intense. It's different. But the beauty of it is, if the fans could see Sunday night, the winning team has a fun party, and the losing team tends to come on over, and it all ends up as friends, and the game of golf, in the end, ultimately wins.
There's been incidents both in America and in Europe. You know, it's not just when we go over there the crowds get loud. It's the same for those guys when they come over here. But you know, I think as long as they give the guys the etiquette of game, which is being silent over the shots, then we can't ask for anything more than that. And I'm sure, whilst Davis will want all the loud, vociferous support that they will get in America, that's brilliant. But I think if any of that was to start to cross the line, I'm sure Davis would put his foot down.
1993 you made your Ryder Cup debut. Can you remember that clearly?
Very clearly, playing for Tom Watson. He took us to the Concord Lounge in New York to get on the Concord and said, boys, we're going on a grand adventure. And what a trip it was to go to the Belfry, you know, to play the Ryder Cup for Tom Watson. And then I ended up on the last hole with a putt that meant us retaining the cup. And it was an incredible week for me. What an introduction to the Ryder Cup, to play with Tom Kite, to play against Seve and Jose 3 matches, to play for Tom Watson on a team with Lanny Watkins and the greatest players of the game. So it was an incredible start for me.
Valderrama, 1997. Seve running about a little bit like a headless chicken because I was in Spain and he was the captain, and winning in Spain meant so much to him. So it was something that anybody that joins the European Tour aspires to play the Ryder Cup, and certainly to make my first one at home with a home match at Valderrama under Seve's captaincy was a very special occasion for me. Yes, nerve-wracking. It's you don't really know what you're going into. You don't know what's expected of you. You don't know what to expect in terms of the crowd, in terms of the pressure and stuff. So it's certainly a very eye-opening experience, but one that you know, it's something that you never forget, ever. Anybody that's stood in that first tee in a Ryder Cup as a player, you never forget.
Since 1985, Europe is 10 wins, 4 losses and 1 halved. What makes them so good, and what makes you think that 2016 will be any different? What gives you that belief?
Europe makes them good. When it was Great Britain and Ireland, the great Jackie Burke said, "Who do we think we are as U.S. golfers? We're going to take them on half the world at a time. Why don't we just take them on one country at a time?" But Europe has gotten better. They're more good golfers. It's become a more even match. And now in golf, anybody can beat anybody. You've got so many great players. The best player in the world might be from Northern Ireland, not the United States. And it's really changed the way the Ryder Cup is played. We now know these guys. They know us. We know them. We're all comfortable. And so it's a different match than it was 20 or 30 years ago. So we know it's going to be a tough match. We know there is no, everybody tries to say that they're the underdog. There really isn't. It's a very even match, and we're going to have to play our best to win it.
Each Ryder Cup is an individual event, and this one is another individual event. So the fact that our record has been so good building up to this one, the record doesn't mean an awful lot as soon as we get onto that first tee on Friday morning in Hazeltine.
I'm trying to get into the American psyche of the Ryder Cup, because golf is a big money thing. You win big bucks if you win a tournament. For the Ryder Cup, it's not about the money. How does that translate in an American environment?
It's winning the big prize. We want to win, and it's not that big a prize. It's a small little gold cup, but we want to win that prize, and we want to be part of a winning team. And we are proud that it's Team USA, and we've grown up trying to make a Walker Cup team, or we've grown up idolizing the Ryder Cup players and wanting to be a part of it. And we want to be on a winning Ryder Cup team. There's a reason why we have not won enough of them, is because we try so hard to win that we sometimes get in our own way. And you see that pressure on the Sunday singles. It comes out that we're all, both sides, Europe and the U.S., we're trying very, very hard to win for our countries and our teams.
It's a massive sporting event. I think the global viewing figures are astronomical. But at the end of the day, it's live golf. It's 36 holes Friday, 36 holes Saturday, and 12 singles on Sunday. And things can change so much. One putt goes in and everything changes and stuff. And I think that's what it draws people to want to see it. But obviously the Americans are desperate to win it back, and it's my part of my job to try and make sure they don't.
What's been your favourite memory of the Ryder Cup?
There was a lot of great things that happened in 1999 with Ben Crenshaw, but it was Payne Stewart's last Ryder Cup. And I'll never forget him dancing on the piano in our team room in striped USA pajamas, smoking a cigar. I've still got the picture. And that was our last great night with Payne, really. So I'll always remember that, getting to play a match with him in that Ryder Cup, and then watching him celebrate his win after winning the U.S. Open. It was quite a finish to the year for him.
Club was something that was different for me for obvious reasons, but it was the support that I received from both the American team, the crowd, and indeed our own team was extra special. And you talk about being nervous in the Ryder Cup. I don't know what's beyond that. And that's how I was feeling on that first tee. But thankfully, Woosie played me just about the right amount of times, and the whole team played fantastically well. And it was great to have that support and to be part of a winning team.
Do you have fond memories of starting out, because it was difficult for you, because it was a long and hard, arduous journey. You had just turned pro, and there was a lot going on in your life.
Yeah, my father was a club pro. I didn't grow up a member of the country club. I was the pro's son, so I got to play a lot of golf, and I had great instruction. But I was still, I grew up not a country club kid, the pro's son. A step above having to caddy at the club, but I was still, I dug it out of the dirt. It was not given to me. But my dad saved up enough money to get me through Q school and out onto the tour, and then all of a sudden, I'd made this gigantic check of $24,000, and I was rich, and I could do whatever I want, and I could get through the year on expenses. I didn't have to get sponsors. I could get married, and it took a lot of pressure off of me. But my dad gave me a lot of confidence that if I just stuck with the plan, that I was gonna be successful, and I was gonna make some money. And he always kept me very wise with my money for quite a while, and then I lost control.
Because you couldn't have had any inkling back then that you'd have been on the tour for so long.
No, you never look that far ahead. I mean, people ask me all the time about, did you have a goal of being in the Golf Hall of Fame or being Ryder Cup captain? I said, no, I never had a goal like that. My dad said, let's see how good you can get and don't leave any stone unturned. Let's work really hard and see where you can go. But I did want to win major championships. I'd been to major championships with my father. I had seen the best players in the world play in my backyard growing up, been around them. I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't see that far ahead, and nobody really, it's hard to look 30 years ahead. But my dad gave me great confidence. He said, you know, if you go to Q school, you will qualify and you will stay on tour and you will eventually, you'll win a tournament in your second year. I mean, he knew exactly the program for me.
Your father, he died young, tragically, in a plane crash. I think he was 53. Do you realise more now how much of a huge impact that would have had on you? You had only just started your professional career and then you were faced with that tragedy.
Yeah, I look back all the time when, when people talk about maybe you didn't get enough out of your game and maybe you should have worked harder, or maybe you should have won more golf tournaments. And I said, well, maybe I got a lot out of it when I lost my teacher and my coach and my best friend at 22, 23 years old. I think I overcame a lot more than people really realize, that I could have given up. I could have quit. The first day back to the golf course at Sea Island was tough. And getting back into it and competing, finding a new teacher, moving on just from my mom was tough. So I've seen that with a lot of other athletes, that sometimes one thing just knocks them completely off. So I'm happy that I made it through that. And that
it's an amazing and incredible success story. I know it was born out of great tragedy, but you got through that. You achieved your goal of winning a major, and you're still winning tournaments.
Well, I think I took what he wanted me to do, and I kept doing it. My brother was a great teacher. He listened to a lot more to my dad than I did, and so he taught me what my dad would have taught me. He continued that legacy. I always said, every shot I take, the name of the book, I still don't go hit balls to this day without thinking, boy, Dad would have said, you got to turn more through the ball. You got to aim more right. When you make that mistake, it was because of this. So we still live it.
1997, when you won the major, quite amazingly, poetically, and you can see the pictures now, the sun comes out and there's a rainbow.
The rainbow was incredible. People were pointing it out to me on 18 at Wingfoot.
Did you realize at the time then?
I realized that it was raining and that I needed to get this ball on the green and get down in two and get out of there. I was so happy with the way the last few holes had gone, thinking about my friend Justin Leonard, who had won the Open Championship that year and alongside me. Just so many great things were happening, my brother on the bag. And then to look back an hour later and think, well, Jim Nance got to tell the whole world about my dad one more time. They associate, every time somebody sees that picture, they associate not it with me, they associate it with my dad. So it was meant to be. Every rainbow we claim now for my dad. So it's been great. People, if it's raining at any tournament and there's a rainbow, people will say, "Hey, Davis, there's a rainbow." So it's great that carries my dad's memory on. That PGA Championship, the son of a PGA of America member, to win the PGA Championship with that story was just, the writers would laugh if you wrote it. It was a little two-story book, but it's great for me and for my family.
I just want to ask you one more about 2012. I wonder now that it's in the past whether you can feel that it was actually right that Europe won in 2012, because it gave Jose Maria Olazabal that chance to say goodbye one more time to Seve, who had been his close friend, of course, and who he'd lost. And you all know the speech, we've all seen it, that he made afterwards, all men die, but only some men live. Are you able to recognise that now, in a sense, it was almost divine intervention that Europe won and that we were all able collectively to say goodbye to him?
Well, I love being a part of stories like that. Unfortunately, I've been Ben Crenshaw's emotional story, winning the Masters when he lost Harvey Pinnock the week before, and I finished second in the Masters. And then now with the Brookline finish with Crenshaw, the ghost of Seve at Medina. I've been a part of a lot of very unbelievable golf stories, and I don't begrudge Jose Maria that at all. No, I'm happy to have been a part of it. I'm still proud of my team. I tell them all the time, I love what you did. I'm sorry that we did not win, that we didn't do enough as a team to help you win. But no, I love being a part of it.
It's much more easy to go out there and play well if you're enjoying it as opposed to worrying about the outcome. It's the same week in, week out, but certainly to enjoy the whole process of the Ryder Cup is something that I will be suggesting to them. You know, they've all got themselves there. The 9 automatic qualifiers on merit, and the 3 wildcard pits, again, they've got themselves there on my decision of their merit for being there. So they all deserve to be there. They deserve their place in the team, and they're the cream of European golf. So, you know, I want them to go out and play like they have done in qualifying. That's basically what I've got to tell them. Can't be any more prepared than we are. You know, I don't think there's any stone that we've left unturned at all. I want to be a captain who's following in the line of many great European captains. That's what I'd like to do.
Darren, I'm very much looking forward to welcoming the European team to Minnesota, the Hazeltine National Golf Club. Watch out for our home field advantage. I think it's going to be very loud there. I look forward to competing against you. Thanks, friend.